All right, everybody. So for our first exercise, we're going to be doing the Sumo Squat with a resistance band. So these are also known as booty bands. You can get them online. You can get them at usually any typical store. I'm not going to name names of stores, but if you look around and just do your research on booty bands or resistance bands, you can find them about anywhere. So these are no particular special brand, just a brand that I have that I like to use. So to begin the Sumo Squat, I'm going to teach you the proper positioning first. Now let's get into the proper position. The proper position for a Sumo Squat is to have a wide leg position. Having a wide leg position, you're going to go from your hip flexors straight down and almost about a full foot, maybe a little bit wider, all the way out. And then you're going to turn your toes slightly out. We turn our toes out because our knees are going to track laterally, not straight forward. With the resistance band, what this is going to do is it's going to add resistance to our legs. And by adding resistance, I mean this band wants to pull my legs in together. Super awkward. So what this does, pulling our legs inward, now our outside muscles have to work to keep our knees out from being in that very, very uncomfortable knee pain position. And by doing the Sumo Squat, even without the resistance band, now we're working our inside quadriceps. So not only are we targeting our vastus lateralis, we're targeting our vastus medialis, and we're hitting our femoris rectus and our sartorius muscles. So all four major parts of the quad. From this movement, we're going to go into a standard squat now. We want to keep our chest upright, deep breath in. I like to keep my hands at my chest or behind my head to make sure that I'm keeping my chest and chin up so I don't lean forward. So going into the squat, we want to first push our hips back and completely forget about the knees at this point. Our hips are going to be the creator of the movement. Hips back, hips drop, hips come up into a glute thrust. So now you notice by my hips creating the movement, my knees just follow. That way, your knees, instead of your knees starting the movement, they don't go over your toes. Your knees will follow your hips backwards. All right, let's do a side view so you guys can actually see the depth and the proper position of the legs. So now we're in our side position. You can see that my legs are still spread widely apart. Toes are slightly pointed out. Resistance band is on, and the resistance band is about 2 to 2.5 inches above the knee. From here, again, we're going to stick our hips back. And you can see when I stick my hips back, my knees automatically give a little bit of a bend. I'm up straight, hips back. See that bend right there? That's what we're looking for. Now that we're in this bend, chest up, you're going to have a small arch in your back, sticking, again, your hips back with your chest up, and chin up so your head doesn't tilt down, pulling your back down. From here, hips and squat. Back up and a glute thrust. Hips back, squat, glute thrust. So when you guys are doing this exercise, I recommend doing at least 20 sumo squats for 4 rounds. I'm going to give you a few more different angles and examples of how to perform this exercise while you guys watch along. And then please make sure when you're doing this on your own, you're rewatching the videos to protect your body and making sure you have proper form and technique. Let's continue. All right, so now you guys are going to get a view from behind. Again, you can see the legs are stretched out. The resistance band is holding tight against my legs. And I'm going to start with the hips coming back first. So you can see right now my hips are in neutral. I don't really have a curve to my back. But as soon as I stick my hips back, knees slightly bend, the back gets a nice curve to it, chest is up, chin is up, arms are up. We're going to squat and come back up and into a glute squeeze. This helps activate the entire glute after coming back up from a squat. Hips back, squat down, and to add extra glute power, from here you're going to squeeze your glutes as hard as you can, like you're trying to clench in a poop. And from that squeeze, use that squeeze to lift your body back up into another glute thrust. So here's the movement at a standard pace.
drowning in the lost emotion, crying like some kind of ocean from my eyes. But I got up.
All right, and there you go.
Yeah, I got over you last night. Wasn't it easy to believe I would be broken forever? Thought I would never see the light. You didn't need me, so I went looking for somebody better. Thought I'd be sadder, but I'm fine. Washing my tears away, I watch my heartbreak go down the drain. My heartbreak go down the drain. My heartbreak go down the drain. I finally learned how to let go. I don't even feel the echo of your touch. I've never been so in control. Only love.
Alrighty guys, so our next exercise is going to be performing the Sissy Squat. So a little thing about the Sissy Squat is it's very hard to perform without the actual Sissy Squat equipment. There's a couple different types of equipment that you can use to perform the Sissy Squat, but this guy right here is one of my favorites. This is called the Suzy. Where to get it? I don't know. However, this is my absolute favorite piece of equipment to use when performing the Sissy Squats. So let me get into a little bit of the resistance band. So before you see me using the purple resistance band, now I'm going to switch to the pink. The reason I'm switching is because when we did the sumo squats, we had to have a stretchier band to make sure that this band would stretch out to the width of our sumo squat. So now switching to the pink band, you can see it's shorter. So it's going to have a tighter grip on my legs, making sure that my legs are held together. Also creating more activation of the vastus lateralis, which is your outside quadricep. So toss the purple to the side. We're going to do the pink. So I'm going to go ahead and slide this on now. We're going to step in it, slide it up, and this time we're going to do a little bit higher. We're going to go right to mid quad, okay? And this Sissy Squat machine, super simple to step into. First, we're going to put our foot underneath the pad, wiggle it in, and then make sure we have good enough pressure pushing down on the feet so our feet don't lift up, and putting a little pressure test on the backboard here that's going to hold our legs in proper position. So from here, I'm going to widen my legs just a little bit, just so you see enough gap right here in between the quads. And to perform the Sissy Squat, it is the opposite of sumo. Whereas sumo is wide, Sissy is centered. So centered Sissy. However, this movement is not so sissy. So to begin, now that we're locked in, we have our band. When doing the Sissy Squat, you want to make sure that your chest is upright. And as you go back into the squat movement, you're going to have a 90-degree angle from your hip to your upper body. To make sure you're holding the proper angle, I like to keep my hands at my chest. So now we're going to lean back. We're going to be in that 90-degree angle from our knees to our hips and through our upper body. We're going to come up and glute thrust forward. The glute thrust, you should be squeezing your booty cheeks hard enough that your hips are more protruding forward. Then we're going to go back, pressure against the pad, hands up, keeping the chest elevated all the way down to that 90-degree plane, and then coming right back up into that glute thrust. So if you don't have this machine, I do not recommend doing Sissy Squats on your own without, again, the proper equipment to hold your feet down and to have a backboard bracing the back of your legs. You might fall either flat on your booty or you're gonna fall flat on your beautiful face. So let's not ruin either that gorgeous face or that gorgeous booty yet. Make sure that if you don't have this, you have another piece of equipment that simulates this exactly, or please just stick to the sumo squats. All right, so I'm gonna go through a few more repetitions. Please follow along. And when you're doing this on your own, 20 reps, 4 rounds. All right, let's keep going. Alrighty, so now that you know how the Sissy Squat is performed with the proper equipment and how to place your bands, if you do have something to use to do Sissy Squats, by all means, give it your best. Let me know how it works for you. Comment below. Otherwise, again, if you don't have it, please don't try it. I don't want you guys to get hurt. So please stick with the Sumo just in case if you don't have the actual Sissy Squat machines. All right, guys, so after doing the Sumo Squats and the Sissy Squats, or performing 2 rounds of the Sumo Squats, making it 8 since we're doing it twice, we're now gonna be performing side steps. So as you notice, I went back to the purple band because we're going to be taking our legs and doing a wide step, going actually back into that sumo style position. So I'm gonna put these on. This is gonna go up to mid-thigh. And for the side steps, super simple exercise, but not so simple activation. So what we're gonna do, I'm gonna start farther off to the side because we're gonna need to go laterally. So make sure when you're performing this exercise, you have enough from about 5 feet on each side to move laterally from the center point you're at. So I'm gonna go all the way over here. All right, so now that we have the resistance band where we want them, I'm actually gonna move them a little bit lower, and we're going to go in a squat position. From here, bring your feet together, out wide, back, out wide. And notice how when I walk, I don't pop up after every side step. So if you're stepping and you come up, wrong. Sorry, but wrong. We're gonna go back down. Keep the squat position. That's gonna continuously activate the glutes and activate the hips. And why do we wanna activate the hips? Well, as we're activating that glute, we might get that nice round curvature in the back, but without activating the hip, we're not gonna get that side roundness that we want. So when you're doing this exercise, what you're gonna do is make sure you're going back and forth 10 times total. So down and back equals 1. Down and back equals 2. Down and back equals 3. And it should take about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 steps to each side. Again, making sure you have either about an 8 to 10 foot space to walk laterally. All right, so follow along. I'm gonna do a few more repetitions and then we'll move on from there. Whew, we're working up a sweat here, guys. Ladies. How do we do it from the back? Alrighty guys, so this next exercise, exercise number 4, is a floor mat exercise. Woo, we don't need space, awesome. So again, we're gonna be using a booty band or a resistance band. So for this exercise, we're going to use the stretchier or longer booty band. And we're gonna use the longer one because we're going to be, again, putting our legs in an out wide position when doing this exercise. What is this exercise? Well, these are called lying clams. So what is a clam? Well, you know how clams open and close? Well, we're gonna be simulating that with our legs. So let me show you how that's done. We're gonna put the resistance band around our legs. And this one we're gonna bring up a little bit farther up into our quadricep muscles. So a little bit more than 2 inches, maybe about, if you go to the top of the knee, 3 inches up from that. From here, we're gonna go on our side. So switch to the side, make sure the resistance band stays in place. Legs are going to be neatly folded together at a 90-degree bend. If you look from the top, you're gonna see that this angle from shin to quad has a 90, and then from quad, hip to upper body is also a 90. And here you just get to lay beautiful and relax. So from this portion, now we're gonna begin the clam. Keeping our feet together, stretch up, and come back down. Stretch back up, come back down. You're gonna notice that my feet stay together, and the top leg is the leg that's coming up. This is going to work the glutes. I'm gonna show you a few more repetitions here from the front, and then I'm gonna show you a few repetitions from the back. Please follow along, and then when you guys are doing this on your own, make sure that you're doing 20 reps per leg for 4 sets. All right, here we go. 1, 2, 3. That's it, there you go. 4, 5. Good, we're gonna go to 10 here. 6, 7. Very good. 8. Remember, squeeze from the glute first to make sure that that glute is activating the leg movement. Squeeze. 9. Relax. Squeeze. And 10. Good. Now I'm going to show you how it's performed from behind so you can see a different angle. And actually, I'm going to go to my pink shorter booty band, just because I want a little more contraction than what I'm getting out of the longer booty band. All right, so now that I got my pink band back on, I'm gonna show you this exercise from the back view. So again, we're laying here nice and pretty. We have our knees bent and our hips in line with our upper body at that angle. Feet together, press up, come back down. Remember, we're activating from the glute first, so you wanna squeeze this glute and then pull that leg up using the glute. What we don't want is to use the knee to come up first, because then if that knee creates the movement, you're losing the concentration and activation of the actual glute itself. So make sure, even if you need to use your hand like I am now, touch your glute, squeeze it, feel the muscles contract, and then begin that movement. So here begins the 10. 1, 2, 3, 4. There you go. You guys got this. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Good. So you might have noticed that my range of motion doing these clams is very minimal, but that's all you're going to need. You don't need to do this big, wide movement. And also when you're doing the clams, make sure to go nice and slow. We want time under tension, which is going to increase the amount of blood flow to the glute muscles, and the longer contractions we can hold with the glute is actually going to work the glute muscle better. And working the glute muscle better, getting more blood flow equals better booty building growth. All right, now after this, we'll move on to our next exercise. All right, so for this final exercise, we're gonna be doing lying glute supermans. So if you're not familiar with it, I'm gonna walk you through it. First, we're gonna put on our resistance band. So I chose a smaller resistance band for this one because our movement is going to be a little smaller as well. So once you have the resistance band in place, again, just a few inches up from the knee, we're actually going to swing around and lie on our stomach. From this, we're going to be in Superman position. So formal Superman position is going to be where you squeeze your glutes and your hamstrings, elevating your feet. You squeeze your back and your core, creating an arch. And then by squeezing your upper body, your hands will also be in an upward movement as if we're flying like Superman. So that looks like this. So we're gonna be simulating that, but just a little differently. We're gonna take the hand portion out of it and just focus on the lower half. So I wanna keep our chest up from here, elbows underneath our shoulders. And then with the booty band, what we're gonna do is widen our legs, put our heels together, and then we're gonna squeeze the glutes and lift our glutes in the air. And every time we lift our glutes, we're gonna do 1,000 count. So it goes like this. 1,001, back down, relax. Squeeze. 1,002, back down, relax. And we're gonna repeat this for 20 reps. I'm gonna go till 10. You guys follow along. And then when you're doing this on your own, please make sure to repeat it 20 times or 20 repetitions for 4 rounds. All right, let's begin the rest of it and follow along. We're in relaxed, we squeeze, and we lift. Relax, squeeze, lift. Good, that's 2. Squeeze, lift, 3. Good job, guys, there you go. You should really be feeling the activation now. Squeeze, lift, 4. Relax. 5. Relax. 6. Relax. 7. Relax. This one, I'm going to lean a little farther forward. So this way it takes a little less action out of the back and is going to put more contraction to the glutes. Squeeze. Lift. Now you can see I just gained a little bit more range of motion. So with that first one, that's going to be the beginner style. Just a little slight movement, lying forward. This is an intermediate where you're going to get more glute activation because of more range of motion. So let's do our last 3. And there you go. Those are your lying glute Supermans. All right, I hope everybody enjoyed the resistance band exercises. So just to give a little explanation of why we do the resistance band is the resistance bands add a little bit of extra time under tension. And time under tension means that you're elongating the time that you're contracting and holding tension within the muscles. So by creating more time under tension and using the booty bands or resistance bands to create the move, or to help assist in the movements rather, you're going to be activating the muscles harder for longer. This is going to help increase the strength in your hips, your glutes, your back, and not only is it increasing your strength, but it's increasing your stabilizers too, because now your joints have to come into play with the intercostal muscles, ligaments, and tendons to make sure that your body is in a good stable position while performing these exercises. So that's where you're gonna get this extra growth from, is that time under tension, building the stabilizers, and creating a better balanced body and booty. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this segment. Thank you so much for following along, and don't forget to comment below on how these exercises worked for you. So stay tuned for more, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.